Welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host Greg. Let's talk a little bit about China, Taiwan, the United States, and the region in there. Things have escalated dramatically. China has cut ties on some situations with the United States. Military exercises, joint talks, illegal immigration, and one of the things that I am sure is getting Nancy Pelosi's phone blown up dramatically is John Kerry's climate change agreement that he worked so hard to get the Chinese to say, okay, will cut back on our coal fire, you know, uh, emissions, which is a lie. But I'm sure since they have suspended that and trashed it, John Kerry is beside himself, and I am quite sure Nancy Pelosi's phone is just absolutely ringing off the hook, blowing up. She probably has to block him because that fool is saying, you ruined, our climate change. All the effort I have made, all the funds I've swindled and everything else like that. Now you have to go and do this. And I'm sure Nancy's response would be, cool it, John. BYOB, meet me at the park and we'll talk about it. That's how little she actually cares. 5 ballistic missiles have hit inside Japanese waters. The Japanese, which have practiced pacifity, or pacifist according to the end of World War II and their treaty and their constitution, they cannot have an aggressive military. They are now rethinking that and saying, wait a minute, we're only spending 1% of our GDP, which is substantial, and only spending a fraction of it to keep their Navy going and the military going. They are now rethinking that and saying maybe we better up our game and start getting some maybe Patriot defense systems or something else, and looking to get our aircraft and Navy ship shape, because this could escalate quite a bit. They have protested to the ambassador of China, and he's just like, whatever, dude. Australia is in the same boat as the Japanese. Both of them are rowing for their lives because the liberals there in Australia, the climate change liberals and everything else, have decimated their military because we don't need that. That's just aggression and they pollute and everything else like that. And nobody's out to get it. Suddenly now they're saying, wait a minute, we need to rethink this as well. And other countries have sat up and taken notice. Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, the Philippines especially have sat up and taken notice there, and they're saying, wait a minute, don't go anywhere, U.S. Naval. We need you here. Stay with us. We're sorry we've offended you so many times. Stay with us. So that's a lot going on. Now, if the blockade keeps going on with China around Taiwan, because they have it surrounded, and they've shut down the strait, Taiwan Strait, which 30% of naval shipping passes through globally. That will cause a huge slowdown in economics around the world. If shipping traffic has to reroute, that will increase the expenses and delay stuff. Now, if things escalate even further between the United States and China, and with the weak response from Anthony Blinken, that milquetoast, no good loser, saying, oh, well, Nancy has every right to be there, and we talked to China 6 times and saying she didn't do anything wrong, so there's no reason for them to be doing this. This administration is a total zero. If things escalate further, which they could very, very easily do, the economic fallout around the world would create a depression so quickly that people would just be absolute panic. Now, China's economy is tanking. Xi Jinping is, even though he was elected for leader for life, What a surprise, dictators usually are. There are people in China with their knives out to get rid of him and go full-blown military conquest. And don't you think for 1 minute China wouldn't do that. China is looking at this mail order president, the doddering old fool that he is, air handshaking with nobody behind him, saying he wouldn't know, if World War III started or not. We have him so, compromised through Hunter Biden's laptop and everything else. What could he do? They could easily start something if they want an economic collapse and Xi Jinping wants to hold on to power. Taiwan, for the most part, is not doing anything. They're letting the missiles fly over their island. They're not intercepting the 19 advanced military aircraft flying over them. They're not doing anything about the ships that are blockading them yet. Xi Jinping could say, leave them there. Keep doing what you're doing. We are going to economically devastate Taiwan and force them to become one of us. If they force the economics on Taiwan, hey, the semiconductors and everything else, you're not going to have them here for the new cars. Climate change, John Kerry crying in his, his cereal. Everything's going to go to crap and people are going to come out swinging. It's not good, especially since China holds all the cards on our pharmaceutical ingredients. You think about that. Walmarts across our nation would close up, and I can't say that's an awful thing, but they do provide a lot of jobs on a lot of materials, on a lot of merchandise. It could get very dicey, and that's why I tell you these things, to make sure that you are fully prepared and aware of what's going on. Some of the things I've been looking at yard sales, garage sales, flea markets, battery operated flashlights, lanterns, cook stoves, tents, hand tools, stuff like that, because Taiwan's being hit with cyber attacks, and if the next step starts to occur, China will blitzkrieg our cyber and try to turn off the lights, crash our banking, shut down the ATMs and everything else. And then next thing you know, ships will be destroyed. American ships will be destroyed with rocket attacks. So get yourself on alert. I'm not fear-mongering yet. Don't panic. Don't go around saying, Greg's saying World War III. I'm not. I would raise your alert level from possibly a 5 to a 6.5. And that's how serious this could easily be. Xi Jinping is struggling for his life. And like all good dictators, a wag the dog scenario is a good out for him. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Get yourself right with God. Get baptized, submerged in water. Greg out.